Tesla finally unveiled its highly anticipated all-electric pickup truck, and people have opinions.
Talking about that truck again, that crazy-looking moon truck.
The design of this is pretty spectacular.
I have never heard a truck owner say, you know, I just love Cyberpunk, and what I'd love to buy is my next truck to look like something from Blade Runner.
It seems a little incomplete for production purposes because there are no side mirrors and the wheels and tires do not look production ready. I've got more questions than answers.
From the unusual design to a failed demonstration that led to a shattered window, there's a lot of hype surrounding this vehicle. Prospective buyers can reserve a truck by putting down a $100 fully refundable deposit. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has hinted at the pre-order numbers on Twitter, saying there were 250,000 Cybertrucks put on hold as of November 2019. So we spoke with 6 people who decided to pre-order the vehicle about what made them take the plunge. One of the most controversial things about the car was its futuristic design.
It is definitely different. And that's actually the one reason why I like it, because it's so radically different from anything else that it obviously grabs people's attention right away.
That's not what I was expecting it to look like, honestly. I was put back, and in a good way.
It took me aback. I was like, what? What? You know, that's a little out there, but it was really cool. Like, you know, once you looked at it.
That's probably one of the most interesting things about the reaction in the crowd. Is it was kind of immediately like 50-50. Like half the people were like, oh my gosh, I love it. And half the people were just like taken aback and being like, what is that? Not everybody, even in the fan crowd, loved it.
Well, at first, I mean, obviously the design, like the angles are a little different. I think that was the first thing that a lot of people were thrown off by is like the look of the vehicle. I think that has a lot to do with like why there's so much negativity around it, because there's nothing else out there right now like looks like that. I mean, it looks like a spaceship, and it's built out of some of the materials he says is used in his same rocket. I mean, especially if it's going to come out in 4 years, like I don't know what cars are going to look like. A lot has changed in 4 years as it is, so it's possible that people will be more accepting of it down the road. But I think that's why it looks like a spaceship, basically, that you would shoot into space, because he shoots rockets into space.
Everyone had a different reason for wanting the Cybertruck. Hannah Straight plans to build a truck camper to live and travel in.
I think there's a good potential for a more basic build. Maybe it won't be extremely decked out, but I really think, I mean, he already has a type of camper design out there, and he's pushing camper living, off-roading. Like, he knows how many people out there want to live like that. So I don't see why not. There's not a very good potential that I could put a truck camper shell on the back of the truck.
She's not the only one with ambitious plans for the truck. Damon and Katie Toomey plan to use the truck as an everyday vehicle, freeing up their Model 3s for another lofty goal.
You could have the car drive yourself to work, and when you're at work and the car is fully charged, it can go pick people up like a Tesla network type of a service. They could drive like people from point A to point B, make $20, and you'd collect 70% of that. Maybe Tesla would collect 30%, and it doesn't have to have bathroom breaks or anything. All you have to do is just recharge, and you could just drive all day and all night while you're sleeping. So you really use the vehicle. You may use like 100,000 miles a year, but since the cars are designed for 300, 400, 500,000 miles, I think it's a good way to make extra money.
David Forrest is a Marine Corps veteran who struggles with PTSD. He hopes the Cybertruck will help him manage his symptoms.
For PTSD, you know, I think I'm just on one part of the spectrum, right? And for me, a lot of that is, for post-traumatic stress, is just being able to go through a certain action. So for me, it would be driving. And it's not that, you know, we have, some people have fears of like there's bombs on the side of the road or anything else, but sometimes it's just the fear of what the possibility is. And there's not great drivers out there. There's people that don't pay attention. Sometimes when you're very hypervigilant about one thing, you don't realize that all those other things come up. You know, your stresses, your anxiety, your mood, and with the Cybertruck, with the AI being able to take over at times, that's an asset that I could see that would help me. I'm in traffic, it's just too overwhelming. Okay, well, take me home.
Michael Hodges served overseas with both the Navy and as a private contractor. He started a GoFundMe campaign to help donate Cybertrucks to veterans and wounded warriors.
It definitely would help in terms of putting you back in that reference of mind that, okay, I'm in a protected vehicle, therefore I can relax more so than any other type of vehicle. Because you know that, hey, if something were to happen, I'm going to be much more protected, which puts you back into that same reference of mind.
The Cybertruck is competing against some pretty popular cars. Both Ford and GM are planning to release electric versions of their best-selling pickups. So what made the people we spoke with choose a Tesla over competitors? Some obvious patterns emerged. They all thought highly of Elon Musk.
I think Elon Musk is Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, Michael Faraday, all in one.
He's a very polarizing figure. We either love him or hate him, basically. I mean, I haven't seen too many people who are kind of in between. He generally always puts out what he says he's going to do. It may take much longer than they want, but it generally always happens. In that case, that is why I'm a fan, because he does what he says, and he says what he does.
I read the Ashley Vance's book about Elon, and this was in, a number of years ago now. But it was actually after reading the book about him that I was like, okay, I need to go and check out Tesla, because this guy really sounds like he's really trying to do innovative stuff, that he's a really intelligent guy, a genius even, and I needed to go check out the car. So I was actually reading his book that led me to check out the car, and it was like, okay, this is by far the coolest product I've ever experienced. And I've been following what he's been doing ever since.
Elon Musk is one of those people that is not afraid to think outside of the box and push boundaries, and a lot of crazy innovations that exist now started from people that other people thought were crazy. And if we hadn't pushed the boundaries and thought outside of the box, we probably wouldn't have changed at all. So I think it's cool that he's pushing forward, even though he's gotten a lot of pushback. So I would like to support that, and he's been successful in what he's come out with so far.
Another pattern, Tesla runs on recommendations.
How this typically goes is it's a referral from a friend. You met somebody, you knew somebody, they took you out for a ride in theirs, they even let you drive theirs, because myself, I know a lot of other Tesla owners do that. And that's usually how the experience goes. I don't think this is a car people are buying without experiencing.
I'd have to go off what personal recommendations. And so far, everyone I know loves driving them. They're fun to drive.
But we have a family friend who got the first Roadster, so we saw that, and that got us into Tesla. For the Tesla naysayers, what I'd suggest is sit in the car, drive it. Once I drove it, I was convinced. Yeah. All I did was drive it really quick in a parking lot, and I knew I wanted it. That's all you need. You need butts and seats.
Yeah.
And the car sells itself.
More public examples that happened in the past week is Kramer, who's been very critical and open of Tesla, finally ended up driving one because his wife wanted to buy one, and his comments and his talk and even his price target on Tesla has completely changed.
I can't tell whether your newfound love for Tesla's price is sardonic or honest.
No, it's wife.
Oh, it's wife. It's
wife
Lisa.
And kids.
It's a Lisa.
Wife and kids
it's a Lisa
me
goal.
Down. We were in the Model X this weekend, and she just said, okay, enough with the balance sheet.
The people we talked with also spoke highly of Tesla's tech and the Cybertruck's specific specs.
When I first heard of electric, it was like, what is that? Why would I want that? The only thing I had in my mind about what electric was a Prius, right? Which is always the car in the left lane on the freeway slowing me down. Like, it wasn't a positive perception. But then when I experienced the product, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so next level that it's not even fair to call this thing a car. The reason I say that is because when you say the term car, what comes to mind to people does not match what the Tesla delivers, especially when you add the autonomy piece in it or the partial autonomy piece with autopilot. It's such a completely different experience that what comes up to mind when you say the word car isn't a fair description of a Tesla. One of the biggest things that Tesla offers that I think it makes it hard for most Tesla owners to ever seriously consider making the jump right now is autopilot. I think the Mach-E is a very compelling car. The fact that it has to rely on other supercharging networks and not its own, and Tesla's supercharging network is very vast, especially in states like California. So that's one of the downsides of Mach-E, but let's assume that will ultimately be negated by Electrify America and some of the other systems. autopilot is the big thing that these other automakers are lacking. And autopilot is actually what brought me to the Tesla brand in the first place. So until somebody has something comparable or better than autopilot, I'm not going anywhere from Tesla.
And you know for sure with Tesla, you're always getting, you know, over-the-air updates. They're always working to, you know, get new software in your vehicle. So you know that with Tesla, what you're getting into with Tesla. Versus with Ford, you don't really know much about, are they going to be doing over-the-air type stuff yet?
Tesla's goal is to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy in transportation, and I think they're going to build more battery pack systems to store energy, more solar panels.
The whole goal is to be different, because if everything was still the same, everyone would still be driving, you know, ICE vehicles and not be transitioning to electric and sustainable energy sources.
Tesla set some benchmarks, and the other companies are working to meet those benchmarks, and that's great for not only us, but, you know, hopefully for our environment. Hopefully we treat that to where we can be able to, you know, reduce the usage and take care of things better.
It's really cool to be a part of, you know, history and seeing all this stuff. You know, as a kid, you see all this on TV and you're like, oh, that will never happen in my lifetime. But seeing it actually happen is really great.
It's going to be exciting to find out how the world ultimately responds to the Cybertruck once this product starts shipping. And I'm really interested to see this play out, because the Cybertruck is one of those designs that you see at car shows, one of those futuristic vehicles that never gets made. You know, we always get seen that like, oh, these are the cars of the future, but the cars of the future never actually show up. We got one of those cars of the future here. So I'm excited to see how the world responds, because if this catches on, this whole cyberpunk thing could end up becoming a modern element of 2020 and 2025 design. So I'm really just excited to see where this goes.